This week I took the CCSP exam. Then I failed. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Cameron, and yeah, I've been working in IT for quite a while. I actually have one of the ISC squared certifications already, which is the CISSP. It's right there. But yeah, unfortunately, I took this exam on Wednesday and I failed it. And so what I'll do in this video, I'll talk to you about the stuff that I use. I'll give you my opinion about the exam overall, and I'll tell you why I'm not ever taking this exam again. I'm going to take that L, and that's just going to be the end of it. If you've never heard of the CCSP before, it stands for Cloud Certified Security Professional, and it's by a company called ISC Squared. In order to pass the exam, you must get 700 out of 1,000 points. And the way that it breaks down is you have 150 questions in total. 50 of those questions are not even really going to be scored. It's really weird. It's something I don't like about ISC Squared, but yeah, they have 50 like beta, pre-test, pre-screen type of questions, and they don't count. They don't count at all. You're not going to know which ones count, which ones don't, but an entire third of the test doesn't count at all. They're just questions in there to, as far as I'm concerned, to mess with your head. ISC Squared is also one of the few companies that I know of that still forces you to go to a testing center. So in my case, I had to find a testing center that was close to me. They're limited on the testing centers you can go to. So I found one that they all had really bad availability, but this one specifically only had availability for a Wednesday on the 15th. So I was like, okay, fine. I actually had to take off of work to go take it, because another thing, the exam is a maximum of 4 hours. Now, are you going to take 4 hours to do it? Probably not, but it is a maximum of 4 hours. So you need to plan around that and make sure you have enough time to do everything that you need to do. Now, it's my understanding, especially from what I read on Reddit, because I remember when it was happening, during COVID, they actually tried to allow people to take the exams remotely, and it went horribly. What ended up happening was they determined that it's not a valid way to take their exams. And so most of the people that had took it remotely all got their shit marked as invalid. And then ISC Squared not only marked them as invalid, but they required them to go and retake it at a testing center within 30 days, or else they were automatically banned for 5 years. It was a nightmare. So just to be honest, I would prefer to take them from home now. I didn't have a great experience in the testing center this time, but regardless, if it's an ISC Squared exam, 10 out of 10 times I will take my ass to a testing center, because I don't want to deal with all that nonsense. I would like to quickly talk about the actual test and what I used to study for it. So believe it or not, I actually used the same like official study material that I used for the CISSP to take the CCSP, except I just used the CCSP version. The first resource that I used was Mike Chappell's LinkedIn Learning video series. I'm the type of person, I kind of learn best, if I can't do hands-on things, I learn best by watching videos and kind of taking notes in flashcards. And so I used his resources, I used his LinkedIn Learning videos, and I thought the videos were okay. I mean, I thought they were just fine. Yeah, I failed the exam, but that was the first thing that I used. That was my first resource. The second and third resource that I used was the official CCSP study books and practice tests. So I actually have them right here. This is the official practice test book, and this is the official study guide. Now, I did both of these. I have the CISSP version of these as well, and I used the CISSP version when I took the exam, and I think they're great. I'm not really a book reader, but the practice test book especially really helps a lot. I just want to quickly mention that there's actually codes in the book that allows you to take the web-based version of it. So for example, the CCSP book for the practice test, I didn't really want to do the practice tests in the book. That's a pain in the ass to do them and then try to find the answers in the back of the book. You don't have to do that. You take the code that's in the book, you verify it on the website, and then the website actually has a practice test kind of test bank that has all the test questions in the book, and you can actually do them on the web instead. And I thought that was really cool. One last thing with these books, I just want to show you a comparison between the thickness of the CCSP book versus the CISSP. The CISSP is by far harder. I know I still failed the CCSP, but I want you to look at this, the material that you need to know. I don't know why I did that. But look how thick the CCSP book is. And then look how thick the CISSP book is. Like, you see this? put them side by side. There is a ton more information that you need to know if you're going for the CISSP. Don't be intimidated by it, but yeah, there's a lot of information. So why did I fail the exam? Well, to be honest with you, I don't really have an answer for that, like a really direct answer. I just wasn't good enough. I'm not the best test taker, but I don't feel like it was nerves or anything like that. I studied hard, I did, and I thought I knew the material, but when it came time to take the test, I failed. I said this before and I'll say it again. You really need to get into the mindset of how that company thinks when you're taking these type of higher level management exams, because a lot of the questions are not like simple black and white. They're very open-ended. What do I mean? Well, for example, a lot of the questions that you're going to get, especially with the CISSP, it's going to ask you like, what is the, first of all, it's going to give you like a paragraph, and then it's going to ask you a question. It's going to say, what's the most effective solution? What's the best option, right? And so what happens is you're going to have like 4 answers, and maybe 2 or even 3 of those answers would actually fix the problem. But you don't need to know what the answer to the problem is necessarily. You need to know what the best and most effective solution is. And that is going to be based off of, some of it's very black and white, some of it's very clear. What's the best answer? That's clearly better than all the rest of them, right? But you're also going to have a lot of questions where it's like, well, I mean, this one could be best, this one could be best, right? I think that it's this one, but I think that ISC squared will say that it's this one, right? That's why I'm saying you need to understand their mindset. You need to understand how they're thinking, because whether the answer is truly right or not, that's not the point here. You need to figure out what they feel like the right answer is, because if you answer it only based off of your thoughts, you're probably going to get it wrong. And no, I'm not trying to make excuses. I accept the fact that I failed. Again, that was on me. But I don't think that this is a good format for actual tests and exams to get your competency and know how good you are at a subject, especially because of the way that ISC squared presents your results after you pass. I think that is the biggest thing that I don't like. So let's just quickly talk about how the actual results work, and then you'll understand, I think, why I don't like this type of exam. They at least give you a little bit of information if you fail. So for example, there is the CCSP with 6 different domains, and you will get a printout if you fail showing all 6 domains, and it'll just simply tell you if you were above expectations, near expectations, or below expectations. So if you fail, okay, fine, you're like, well, at least I know to go back and study this domain or that domain. Now see, it's the exact opposite if you pass the exam. If you pass the exam, ISC squared will give you a paper saying, congratulations, you passed, but that's it. There's nothing else on that damn paper that's useful. So it's not going to break down the 6 different domains. It's not going to tell you what you were strong or bad at. It doesn't even give you a score. So you'll walk out of that exam passing, but you don't know if you passed by 1 question or if you got every question right. And so especially when it comes to these open-ended questions, it just leaves a big like, well, I don't really know how well I did. I just know I met the standards. And yes, the way that IT really works is people only really care if you have the exam or if you have the certification or if you don't have it, right? Whether you either passed or you failed. But still, it's nice to know how well you did. But ISC squared is so damn secretive that you're not going to get that information. And because of that, I really don't like taking these type of exams. And that's how this kind of circles around back to the beginning when I say that, yeah, I failed the exam. I'm not happy I failed the exam, but it is what it is. Hey, it's yours. You guys have it. I will take that L. I'm not taking this exam again. And the thing is, last year when I took the CISSP, which it was my 2nd time taking it, I was super stressed out when I took that exam. I passed it, and I, at the time, didn't realize that they don't even tell you any information. So when I passed it and I realized it was just a piece of paper saying that I passed and that was it, I actually got really, really pissed off. And I was like, you know what? I'm never taking an ISC squared exam again. And I was serious. I didn't plan on ever taking it again. You might be wondering, why is it that I even took the CCSP exam then? The reason is because I attended a school called Western Governors University, and as part of my bachelor's program, when I passed a class called Managing Cloud Security, they actually give you a free voucher. They pay for you to take one time the CCSP exam. And so I had the voucher. I was like, it's a free voucher. I'm not just going to not use it. I'm not going to pay for it because I had no plans on taking the CCSP, but I'm not going to waste the voucher either. So I took the voucher, I studied, and I tried Still didn't pass, but you know, it was at least worth the attempt. I'm not mad that I attempted it. I'm not even mad that I failed, but yeah, because it was a free voucher, I took it. I'm just done with ISC squared in terms of their tests. I wish you all the best of luck if you guys choose to pursue this. I'm not saying it's a bad exam. I'm not saying it's a bad company. It's just not for me. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm telling you this for two reasons. Number one is because I've already made a video talking about what my plans were for this year, and the CCSP was one of those plans because I knew that I was getting the voucher. So I want to be, you know, open and honest with you and let you know if I passed or failed, because since it's on the list, it would be weird for me to just never mention it, right? And then number two is because I want you guys to see, especially a lot of you that are newer in your career, sometimes you fail. It just happens, okay? If we're talking about just this year, I have passed 2 certifications. I passed the ITIL version 4 foundations, which I didn't care about that exam at all. And then I passed the CompTIA Pen Test Plus, but I have now failed the CCSP. There are plenty more certifications that I plan on getting this year. So hopefully I'll have a lot more videos about me passing in the future, but we'll see. Regardless, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to be as transparent as possible because I want to look back on my own videos over time and see how well I did, see how well I've grown. But I also want you guys to know that, you know, sometimes you fail and it's okay. And that's it for me. I'm going to use the rest of this month to just kind of relax, to get some personal stuff taken care of. And starting next month, I will be starting a new certification, working on something else. What am I going to work on? I'm not really sure yet. I'll probably put out a quarterly video at the end of this month where I kind of review what my plans were versus what my plans are next. So we'll see what happens then. But until my next video, you guys take care.